Good day, everyone! You're watching LINANG, Nurturing Knowledge, Building Success. We're here to guide you recall the lessons for our final examination in Discipline and Ideas in the Applied Social Sciences. I am Ashley Nicole A. Mapula.
And I am Alessandra Sky B. Gubatan.
We are your peer tutors for today. These are the topics for finals.
Clientele and audience in social
work settings, processes, and services.
discipline of communication,
Professionals and practitioners of communication.
audiences and communication media channels,
Functions and effects of social sciences. The first lesson is about clientele and audience in social work. Sinasabi sa casework na ang client ang main focus ng lahat para matulungan nila ito. According to de Guzman, kaya hindi ma-manage ng isang individual ang kanyang stress ay dahil sa sitwasyon or mga problema na nakapaligid sa kanya kaya kinakailangan niya humingi ng tulong professionally. Lahat tayo may own adaptation kung paano mag-cope with stress. Yung iba sa inyo, dinadaan na lang sa tulog. Yung iba naman, dinadala na lang sa gala, kain, or kaya naman mag-vent out with your friends. Here are the sample of modes of adaptation. First, we have fight. Ito yung physically or verbal projection of angry feelings. Dito pumapasok yung pagdadabog, or kaya paninigaw kapag galit, and yung pagrereklamo kapag sobrang stress na tayo. Secondly, we have flight. Ito yung nilalayuan mo or tinatakasan mo yung problema. Makaka-relate dito yung mga may avoidant attachment issues. Nilalayuan mo yung isang person dahil nai-stress ka. Pwede din dito yung nagfla-fly out of the country kasi sobrang stress, nagha-hike, ganon. Next, we have pairing. Dito yung pumapasok sa relationship with another person. Pero hindi lahat ng relationship dito is romantically. Pwede dito pumasok yung relationship with friends. Sinasabi dito na makikipag-connect ka with another person na sa tingin mo ay matutulungan ka nila. Dito pumapasok yung panghihingi ng advice sa iba. Next naman ay typology of the clients. First, we have voluntary clients or walk-in clients. From the word volunteer, voluntarily silang nahingi ng tulong. Next is involuntary clients or reach-out clients. These are the individuals who may not even consider asking help kasi iniisip nila na okay lang sila, na normal yung ganong situation, and they think they are doing fine and will survive somehow. Next naman is referred clients. Dito, may another person involved na tumulong sa kanila para makahingi sila ng tulong or service or assistance. Commonly, yung mga tao na yon ay yung mga tao na concerned about sa kanilang situation. Here are another typology of the clients. First, we have growth group. Ang goal dito ay yung personal growth ng individual or ng client. Binibigyan ng pansin dito ang emotional, interpersonal, intellectual, and spiritual phase ng kanilang buhay. Next is treatment group. Dito naman binibigyan ng focus kung paano masolusyonan ang problema ng kanilang client. Next is social group. Nandito yung opportunities para sa mga social relationships. Commonly, tinutulungan dito yung mga lonely people or yung mga friendless para magkaroon sila ng friends and matuto sila makipag-socialize with other people. Fourth, we have interest group. Dito nakalaan yung pagbibigay ng tulong sa mga pangangailangan ng kanilang client. And na-achieve nila ito by providing activities and services sa kanilang community. Fifth is play or recreational group. Nandito naman yung mga pleasurable activities para sa pagpapahinga or recreational needs. Huwag kayong malilito sa interest group and play or recreational group. Tandaan nyo na sa interest group, provide dito yung activities na kailangan ng individual. While sa play or recreational group, Pino-provide naman nito ang pleasurable activities, papatanggal ng boredom. We also need to remember that community is composed of group of people who are gathered in a specific geographic area. Their population doesn't matter. They may be large or small. Basta mayroong common interest sila and may culture sila, matatawag sila na community. Community is also potentially recognized in the social welfare.
Our next lesson is Lesson 3.4, Social Work Settings, Processes, and Services. So, social work is considered a helping profession, meaning na meron itong sinusundan na structured process when working with clients. Ito yung nakaka-ensure that the services na pinoprovide ng social work, systematic sila, effective, and talagang nakatailor sa mga pangangailangan ng mga kliyente ng social work. So, the origin of this structured process, it can be traced back to Helen Harris Perlman. Siya yung nag-introduce ng problem-solving framework sa social work. According sa kanya, sa pagtulong ng mga kliyente sa social work, it involves 3 main steps. So, ano yung mga main steps na yun? Ayan. Study, diagnosis, and treatment. Study is yung stage where the social worker, dito sila nag-gather ng mga facts tungkol sa problema ng kliyente nila. Hindi lang siya mga random information tungkol sa client, pero ina-identify nila carefully kung ano ba talaga yung relevant sa sitwasyon ng client nila para maintindihan nila to understand the situation fully. Diagnosis. Dito naman, the social worker, dito nila ina-analyze tsaka ini-interpret yung mga nakolekta nilang facts sa study. Yung mga nakolekta nilang data and information tungkol sa client nila. Ito yung step that involves critical thinking para maintindihan nila kung ano yung mga root causes ng problema ng kliyente. Tapos, matugunan nila and masolusyonan yung mga pangangailangan ng kliyente na yun. That's under diagnosis. Treatment naman, finally, is after nating maintindihan and ma-understand yung problema ng kliyente, the social worker naman, this is where they decide on ano yung mga actions or ano yung mga interventions na gagawin nila para ma-resolve nga yung problema ng kliyente nila. This is where the solutions, this is where the strategies, dito na nila pinaplano yon sa treatment. So, essentially, social work starts with understanding. Ayun yung talagang root or core ng social work is understanding. And then it moves to analyzing, and then it ends with action or yun na nga, intervention. Assessment. So, sa social work process, it has a lot of steps. This is the first one, assessment. Assessment is both a process and a product. Meaning na ang assessment, ongoing activity siya. Pero, nagre-resulta din siya sa clear understanding kasi nag-guide siya sa next steps natin ng social work process. It's both a process and it's both a product. So, during assessment, social workers do 3 main things. They collect relevant information, they analyze and interpret the data, and understand the client, the problem, and their social context. So, nagko-collect sila ng relevant information tungkol sa kliyente nila at tungkol sa sitwasyon ng kliyente nila. Tapos na ina-analyze nila, ini-interpret nila yung information na yon para ma-identify nila ng maayos kung ano nga ba talaga yung problema ng client nila. And lastly, iniintindi nila. They understand what is the social context behind that client. Kung yari, ano man yung context ng family niya, ng community niya, tsaka yung ginagalawan niyang environment. Kasi possible, yung mga environmental factors, yung mga nasa environment niya, nakaka-affect din yon sa client, sa problema ng client, at sa mga possible na solutions na ibibigay ng social worker. So, kung hindi magagawa ng maayos ang assessment na process, without proper assessment, yung mga interventions na dapat gagawin ng social worker, hindi siya maaaring ma-address ng maayos. Kasi, hindi natin malalaman kung ano nga ba talaga yung real issue or yung totoong issue ng kliyente, and it won't work effectively. That's why assessment is important. Ayan, next, planning. The next step is planning. Kumbaga, ang planning, isipin natin siyang tulay mula sa assessment until sa intervention. So, once a social worker understands the problem, dito na nila din na-decide or ano bang gagawin nilang next na step. So, it has two key parts. Tinatranslate nila yung mga nahanap nilang findings from assessment into goal statements and action plans. Goal statements, ito yung mga desired outcomes natin. Essentially, yung sinasagot niyang tanong is, ano nga ba talaga yung gusto nating ma-achieve para sa kliyente natin? Ayun yung mga goal statements natin in social work. Next is the action plans. Yung mga action plans naman, ito yung mga strategies or yung mga steps na gagawin ng mga social workers para makamit yung mga goals na yun. Yung mga goal statements na yun. That is, they place the action plans into action so that they can reach the goal statements. Kumbaga, mina-map out nila yung journey para makapag-start silang mag-intervene. So that they can start intervention, nagpaplano muna tayo. Because planning ensures that yung mga actions na gagawin ng social workers natin, meron silang purpose and meron silang nagga-guide na clear objectives. Hindi yung mema-mema lang kung ano man magawa ng social workers, kung ano mang random efforts, meron talaga silang purpose and clear objectives. That is why planning is important. Next, intervention. Next step is intervention. Intervention naman, ito na yung pinaka-action phase natin. This is where yung mga social workers natin, ini-implement na nila yung mga strategies na dinassign nila during the planning stage para ma-solve or ma-address yung problema ng kliyente nila. So, ang mga interventions natin, as I said before, they're not just random. Specific sila and naka-appropriate talaga silang services or support na naka-aim sa mga pangangailangan ng kliyente nila. For example, pwede siya maging counseling, pwede nating i-connect yung kliyente ng social worker sa mga resources na kailangan niya. Or group support, pwede rin yun. So, pinaka-key idea ng intervention is that it is action with intention. Based sa lahat ng naintindihan natin and na-understand ng social worker sa mga past steps such as assessment, mga na-assess niya, tsaka mga naplano niya, dito na nila i-implement yon. Yung mga previous steps, dito na nila talaga gagawin yon sa intervention. Next, evaluation. Evaluation naman is the ongoing part ng social work process. Ang mga social workers natin, hindi lang nila ginagawa yung intervention tapos yun na yun. They just stop. Hindi na yun. They continuously gather information para malaman nila kung gumagana nga ba talaga yung mga pinlano nila na interventions and strategies and ganon and the like. They evaluate that so that they know kung it's actually working. Continuous na process siya. Through evaluation, this is where social workers can reassess objectives and intervention plans and adjust problem definitions as needed. So, nire-reassess nila yung mga objectives nila, mga plano nila, and pwede na lang i-adjust yung mga interventions na ginawa nila with their clients kapag yung initial na strategies na in-implement nila with the client, hindi na pala siya effective sa kliyente nila. Syempre, ang gagawin ng social worker doon, iibahin nila kasi na-evaluate na nila na, oh my gosh, it's not working. So, they're gonna reassess and come up with a new plan, come up with a new intervention. They can also redefine the problem kapag they find new information with the client. Like, new information emerges from the client. Kumbaga, nag-iba na pala yung social context niya, may nangyaring problem sa family niya, may nangyaring problem sa environment niya. Siyempre, new problem to adjust na rin yun. New problem to address. So that the social worker, siyempre, i-adjust niya yung mga ini-implement nilang interventions. So, this is why evaluation ensures that yung helping process natin, yung social work process natin, effective pa rin siya and responsive siya sa mga pangangailangan ng kliyente na ever-changing naman talaga because it is always changing. Ayan. Finally, we have come to termination. Termination, social work relationships, meron silang time limit. Hindi yan forever. Pero, kailangan dinidiscuss yan ng social worker sa kanyang kliyente. Dapat alam ng kliyente kung ano nga ba talaga yung expected na duration niya with the process, with the social work process. Para malaman din ng kliyente. But that doesn't always mean na kapag na-terminate na, termination, it doesn't always mean that the help just ends completely. Meron dyang two related concepts with termination: transfer and referral. Transfer, client moves to another worker, same agency, due to better suitability or inability of the original worker to continue. Ito kapag minove natin yung isang kliyente sa isa pang social worker na nasa same agency din. Maaaring nangyari to because yung original social worker na nakasama ng kliyente, hindi na niya kayang mag-continue, or feel ng social worker na yon, merong isang other social worker that is better suited para makatulong sa kliyente niya. Ita-transfer ng original social worker yon sa other social worker, or other social worker, pero within the same agency. Same agency pa rin. Yun yung key term kapag transfer. Tina-transfer niya lang. On the other hand, referral naman, client is directed to a different worker or agency because services needed are beyond current capabilities. Ito naman sa referral, yung kliyente natin, nadirekta siya sa ibang agency, ibang worker na outside na ng agency, original na agency ng kliyente. Kasi hindi na kayang i-provide ng current agency or ng original agency yung mga kinakailangang services ng kliyente nila. So, for example, kailangan pala ng specialized support ng kliyente or ng additional resources na wala sa agency na yon. I-refer ng original agency si client sa ibang agency para matulungan pa rin siya. Hindi lang nag-e-end yung process, social work process niya doon. Hindi siya nagto-terminate na doon lang. Nire-refer niya sa iba. That's the difference. Transfer within the same agency, referral, lumalabas na siya sa agency na yon. So, termination, whether through transfer or referral, ina-ensure niya that our clients, mga clients ng social work, nagko-continue silang maka-receive ng best possible support kahit na matapos yung current helping relationship niya. That is what termination is for. Dumadako naman tayo to our next lesson, lesson 4.1, discipline of communication. Communication is essentially yung effective sharing or transmission of facts, opinions, or emotions between two or more people. So, ito yung process, how we make our ideas and feelings, pinapaintindi natin yan sa others. That's how we make them understood by others. Communication, hindi lang siya talking. It involves sending, receiving, and interpreting messages in ways na kayang maintindihan ng both parties na nagko-communicate at na-understand nila yung each other. Kapag wala tayong proper communication, kahit yung mga simpleng daily tasks nyo, it can lead to confusion. So, there are three main elements that make communication possible: the sender, the message, and the receiver. Sender, the person, group, or institution that creates or produces the message, also called encoder. So, ito yung person, yung group, or yung organization na nagka-create ng message na gusto na isend ng sender. Minsan, tinatawag silang encoder because they are the ones na nag-encode ng mga ideas nila into a form na kayang matransmit sa ibang tao or other people. They create it into a form that they can communicate to others. Kumbaga, isipin nyo nag-encode sila, nagta-type sila, ganon. The message naman is the actual ideas or meanings transmitted verbally or non-verbally. Ito yung pinaka-content na kino-communicate ng sender. Pwede siyang maging verbal, such as words, or pwede naman siyang maging non-verbal, like mga gestures, mga facial expressions, kahit images man yan, or emojis, message pa rin yun, because it has content, it has meaning, it has ideas behind it. Receiver, the person, group, or institution intended to receive the message, also called decoder. So, receivers are yung mga tao na magre-receive ng message ng sender. They are also called the decoder kasi they are who interprets or decodes the message into yung pinapaintindi ng sender, into the meaningful ideas, yung ibig sabihin ng sender. So, the communication process, it's actually cyclical. Ito, ayan, this communication cycle. It starts with the idea of the sender, tas ine-encode na ng sender yung message, yung idea niya into a message na kayang matransmit sa ibang tao using the channel. Ayan, transmission of channel. And then next is, na-receive na ng receiver yung message. And then after that, decode na ng receiver yung message into the meaningful idea that the sender wants to send. And then next, obviously, sasagot sila, mag-feedback sila, ibibigay nila balik yon sa sender. And that all cycles back to another idea created by the sender para sumagot sila. So, notice natin how feedback is what completes the cycle. It shows that communication is a two-way process. Hindi siya nagsasend ng information one way tapos end na siya doon. Meron siyang sagot, meron siyang feedback. Ayan. So, there are a few key concepts that make communication effective. Encoding, decoding, channel, noise, context, and feedback. Encoding, creating the message in a form the receiver can understand. Ito ay kung paano ang senders, this is how they put their ideas into words, or not just words, mga symbols, actions, basta in a form na kayang maintindihan ng receiver. Decoding, this is how the receiver interprets the message, processing the message to understand and react. So, ina-interpret na ng receiver yung mensahe ng sender. Ang mga misunderstanding, dito nangyayari yan kapag yung pag-decode ng receiver natin, hindi siya nakamatch sa intention ng sender. This is where misunderstandings happen. Like, naiba yung understanding ng receiver, naiba yung reaction niya, hindi siya nagtugma sa gustong ipahatid ng sender. Channel, the medium used to transmit the message. For example, radio or email. So, ang channel is yung medium na ginagamit ng sender para matransmit, mabigay yung message niya. It can be speaking face-to-face, that is a channel, sending an email, broadcasting over radio, broadcasting over TV, any medium that's used para mapaintindi yung message ng sender. That is channel. Noise, interference that prevents accurate understanding. Noise is any interference na nag-i-interfere para hindi maintindihan yung message na gustong isend ng sender. They make it hard to understand. For example, mga background sounds. For example, mga distractions sa paligid ng sender, ng receiver. Or kahit mga misunderstandings, that is noise. Mga interference sa communication. Context, the situation in which communication occurs, including social-cultural factors. Context is yung sitwasyon, kung bakit nga ba nangyayari yung communication in the first place. This includes cultural, social, or environmental factors. Kung ano man yung context, kung ba't sila nag-uusap, bakit sila nagko-communicate, that's the context. Feedback is the receiver's response or reaction to the message, ay yung sagot ng receiver natin. Para malaman ng sender na, eto, yung message mo, naintindihan yan ng receiver kasi nakasagot siya. Naka-react siya, naka-understand siya. This is how the sender knows na, yung sinend kong message na intindihan yan ng receiver kasi sumagot siya ng maayos. So, by understanding all of these elements, we can make sure na our communication's clear and more effective. That's why it's important to know these key concepts. Ayan, next. Functions of communication and media. Communication, they play a big role in our social lives and personal lives. Kasi, social, we talk with other people, we use communication, we use media. The media and communication, they help society in a lot of ways. These are their functions: surveillance, interpretation, socialization, entertainment, and mobilization. Surveillance, news and information role. Example, media reporting. So, surveillance, ito ang pag-provide ng news, pag-provide ng information para ma-inform ang public. We use communication, we use media para makapag-inform, makapag-keep updated sa mga news na nangyayari sa surroundings natin. Interpretation, analysis, commentary, and providing context or meaning. Kaya nating ma-analyze, kaya nating magbigay ng commentary or context sa mga information na nangyayari sa paligid natin through communication and media. Kasi nakakarating naman sa atin yung news because of communication. Kasi kino-communicate sa atin. Kasi through media, doon natin nakikita yung mga information na yun. Kaya natin siyang ma-analyze. Interpretation. Okay, next, socialization. Transmission of values, culture, and education within society. Socialization naman, kaya nating gumamit ng communication and media para makapag-share ng mga pinaniniwalaan natin, mga gusto nating i-share, kultura natin bilang Pilipino to other countries. We can use communication in media for that. Or not just other countries, kahit sino man yan. Just basta within our society. We can socialize with other people. We can transmit our values to other people through communication and media. Entertainment, relaxation, reward, diversion, and tension reduction. Through media, we can be relaxed, we can be enjoyed. Kasi it comes in a way of leisure. It comes in a way of a break from our daily stress. Kaya natin gamitin social media. We can use social media as a way of leisure kapag it's been a long day after work. Pwede siyang maging sense of entertainment for people na i-turn off yung brains nila for a while. Mobilization is encouraging public action on social issues. For example, disaster relief efforts. We can use communication and media rin for encouraging ang public action, na mag-encourage ng ibang tao na gumawa ng ganito, gumawa ng ganyan. Like, for example, yung example ko dyan, disaster relief efforts. Merong nangyaring disaster, merong nasalanta sa bagyo. We can use media, we can use communication, we can communicate that we need help, or there are people who need help because nasalanta nga sila ng disaster. We can encourage other people na tumulong, start ng donation drive man yan, or mag-help through resources after that disaster. We can mobilize with them. All of these functions show na communication is more than just pagsasalita, more than just talking. It shapes our society. It functions and it responds. Ayan. Levels of communication. Communication occurs at different levels depending sa number ng mga nag-uusap, ng number of people involved, and kung ano man yung medium na ginagamit nila. We have intrapersonal communication. Intrapersonal communication is internal communication within an individual. So, isipin natin, nag-iisip, nagre-reflect ka sa sarili mo, nagpaplano ka sa isip mo, basta ang sarili mo ang kinakausap mo, that is intrapersonal. It is within yourself, intrapersonal. Interpersonal communication naman, on the other hand, is communication between two or more people. So, outside na siya. Kapag intra, within the self. Kapag inter, it is out beyond the self. May kausap ka ng ibang tao. So, this can be dyadic, this can be group communication, this can be public communication. Kapag dyadic communication, from the word itself, dyad, two people are communicating. Group communication naman, there are three or more people interacting. But they are interacting face-to-face at meron silang immediate feedback. Ang pinagkaiba ng group communication sa public communication is that public communication, even though it is three or more people, large group din siya, feedback is limited or delayed. Sa group communication, agad-agaran. Face-to-face yung feedback nila. For example, nag-uusap kayo ng magkakaibigan mo sa classroom. That is face-to-face and meron agad-agarang feedback. That is group communication. On the other hand, public communication, kunwari, nagde-deliver ka ng speech into an audience. Siyempre, yung audience na yun, hindi mo agad malalaman na meron palang sumasagot sa audience na yun. Kasi, the feedback is limited or restricted. Hindi siya face-to-face. Hindi agad-agaran yung feedback na yun. Mass communication. Mass communication, messages transmitted to large audiences using technology. Mass communication, gumagamit tayo ng technology para makapag-send ng messages. Maaaring TV, maaaring radio, or newspapers. You are delivering messages to the mass. Ayan. Computer-mediated communication. Communication naman using computers and internet-based technologies. Sa computer-mediated communication, gumagamit naman tayo ng computers tsaka ng internet platforms such as, dito na pumapasok yung social media, emails, mga video calls, basta internet, basta computer, that is computer-mediated communication. Understanding these levels, they help us to choose what is yung pinaka-akmang way para makapag-communicate. Depende sa sitwasyon natin and kung sino man yung gusto natin kausapin, sino man yung gusto nating audience. That's why it's important to know these levels of communication. Ayan, our next lesson is lesson 4.2, Professionals and Practitioners of Communication. So, in today's world, sa kasulukuyan natin, communication is not just a skill. Hindi lang siya personal skill. Profession na rin siya. People who work in communication, nagsha-shape sila ng public opinion, nagsha-share sila ng impormasyon, at they build trust between institutions and the public. There are 3 key areas that stand out in communication: journalism, advertising, and public relations. At i-discuss natin lahat yon. So let's start with journalism. Journalism is the practice of gathering, reporting, and sharing news through mass media. So, ang primary purpose ng journalism is to, according to the elements of journalism, is to provide citizens with the information they need to be free and self-governing. So, meron tayong journalism kasi ang society natin, they need access to reliable na impormasyon. Yung talagang paniniwalaan na information. That's essential. Para ang mga mamamayan, ang mga citizens natin, they can make their own informed decisions. Kaya nilang magdesisyon sa sarili nila and makapag-participate sa society, makapag-participate ng buong-buo sa demokrasya ng society natin. So, journalists serve several important functions: informer, interpreter, and instrument of government. Informer provides facts to the public. They are informers because they are who provides facts to the public. They keep people updated kung ano nga ba yung nangyayari sa country, sa Pilipinas, hindi man lang locally sa mga communities natin, but also globally as a whole of the society. Interpreter analyzes and explains news. Journalists analyze and explain news so that people can understand ano nga bang ibig sabihin ng impormasyon na to, ano nga bang ibig sabihin ng news na to, paano ako naaapektuhan ng news na to. The citizens must understand the implications of these to them, to themselves. So, instrument of government serves as the fourth estate. Fourth estate because journalists represent the public. They are public representatives. Sila ang nagkritik ng mga actions ng government kung meron man silang nagawang mali or hindi nila na-fulfill yung obligasyon nila bilang leaders. And journalists also advocate for policies that benefit the society, policies na talagang nagbe-benefit sa publiko, sa bansa. And they also serve as a watchdog para makapag-ensure ng accountability sa mga leaders natin, sa government, sa gobyerno. So, ayan. Rights and responsibilities of journalists. Journalists are given certain rights para makapag-perform sila ng mga duties nila effectively. So, these include free access to all sources of information. Dapat lahat ng sources of information ng ating mga journalists, they are free to get these information sa mga sources nila. Kasi sila ngayon nag-update, sila yung nagre-report kung ano yung facts, ano yung mga impormasyon sa publiko. That's why they should have free access. Right to investigate stories of public interest. So, kaya nilang mag-investigate ng mga stories, mga information, mga news. Kasi it affects the public. It has implications to the society and they have the right to share that with the public. Number 3. Right to protect the identity and confidentiality of sources. So, journalists have the right to keep their sources private and confidential para maprotektahan yung mga identity ng sources nila. For example, meron silang kinocover na sensitive issue na kailangan yung source nila confidential para safe yung source nila, pero credible pa rin because they are still sharing, the facts and the information. Lastly, number 4, right to publish stories without fear of punishment. Journalists must be free to publish the stories and the information sa kung anumang media ang gusto nilang i-publish without facing consequences, without having to be scared na may magagalit or may magpapunish sa kanila sa paggawa nun. Because, right nila yun eh. Right yun ng journalists and right yun ng publiko na malaman kung ano yun nangyayari. But all of these rights, they come with responsibilities. Nakabalance sila with responsibilities para makapag-report sila accurately, fairly, at ethical pa rin yung pag-share of information. Ayan. Next, career opportunities in journalism. Journalism offers a variety of career paths. Marami yang fields, such as print, broadcast, and online media. Excuse me. So, print media. Dito pumapasok ang mga newspapers natin, ang mga magazines natin. That is print media. Broadcast media. We are talking about radio and television, TV broadcasting, radio broadcasting. Diyan nakapaloob yan. And lastly, online media. Think digital news, mga Facebook pages, mga platforms, social media platforms natin, and mga blogs. They post their news there. That is media and journalism. So, at the heart of any news organization is the editorial section. The editorial section, dito nila pinapasok talaga yung mga news, yung mga features, and yung mga facts, yung mga information ng news. That is the core of the news organization. But a news organization also has supporting sections. Hindi lang yung editorial section. Meron silang advertising, circulation, marketing, production, and business. All of these sections, kinakailangan yan ng isang news organization para makapag-operate sila successfully. Dumadako naman tayo sa advertising. Advertising is a paid, mediated form of communication from an identifiable source, designed to persuade the audience to take action. So, either now or in the future. So, oh my gosh. So, advertising, ang pinaka-point ng advertising natin is, ayun nga, makapag-persuade ng audience nila. Ngayon man or in the future, ang whole point is makapag-persuade. So, advertising serves several functions in business and society. Marketing tools, transmitter of information, economic stimulant, and purveyor of values. Marketing tool because they are who promotes products and services sa mga target audiences nila. They advertise their products and services sa mga audience. For example, mga ads na nakikita nyo, market nila. Yung mga billboard and such. Next, transmitter of information educates the audience. Transmitter of information kasi ina-educate nila yung mga tao, yung mga mamamayan, mga citizens, on yung mga products nila, yung mga services nila, at mga important issues pa, pwede din. They use advertising para makapag-spread ng information, makapag-educate, na malaman kung ano man yung ginagawa ng product nila, anong ginagawa ng service nila, or other issues around society. Economic stimulant boosts economic activity. Advertising is an economic stimulant kasi nag-encourage siya na gumastos. Siyempre kapag nakakita kayo ng ad, diba, may isip nyo, hala, gusto kong bilhin yun. Like, it boosts your need to encourage to spend. It drives business growth kasi ayun, you're spending, kapitalismo. Purveyor of values because it shapes social and cultural norms. It also shapes lifestyle perceptions. Kapag nakakita ka ng ad, it shapes yung perception mo sa product na yon and society as a whole based on that ad na nakita mo. Yung mga norms, yung kultura mo, it mirrors advertising. Siyempre, kapag sa Pilipinas tayo, yung mga makikita nating ads, nire-reflect nila yung mga kultura din ng mga Pilipino para nga makapag-persuade sila. Okay, so in short, advertising influences both the economy and society's values. Hindi lang siya sa economy nakaka-influence, pero sa society din as a whole. Yung mga values natin and yung mga kultura, yung mga norms natin. Lastly, public relations. Public relations, or PR, is strategic communication to build mutually beneficial relationships between organizations and their publics. So, public relations, naka-aim siya para makapag-build ng rapport between yung organization na yon at yung publiko, the general public. It's all about creating a positive image for that organization and maintaining trust of the public to that organization. So, there are several tools and areas of PR. We have internal communications. Internal communications is communicating with employees. You are communicating with your employees within the organization para informed sila at motivated sila. So there is PR then within the organization. Like you are building rapport between yung mga higher-ups ng organization natin and yung mga employees nila. For example, nag-issue ang isang kumpanya ng isang newsletter na nag-update sa mga employees nila na meron kayong raise, meron kayong taas ng sahod. Siyempre, kapag na-update yung mga employees sa mga nangyayari sa kumpanya na yon, that builds trust within that organization and that company. So next, corporate PR. Corporate PR represents the whole organization, not specific products. Corporate PR, for example, nag-address ang isang kumpanya ng bago nilang policy. It addresses the whole of the organization. Hindi yung specific na produkto lang yung pinapa-project nila with a positive image. They project it to the whole organization. Corporate yung public relations, corporate yung PR. Next, media relations. Media relations, communicating with journalists and specialists. So, media relations natin, dito na pumapasok yung press. You are interacting within the press, within the media, para meron tayong positive image sa media and you are using the media to spread that positive image to the public para malaman din nila. Dito na pumapasok yung mga press conference natin, yung mga interviews na nagho-hold, such as, kunyari, meron tayong celebrity, meron tayong government official, and then they talk to journalists, they hold interviews para ma-fix or, kumbaga, mas tumaas yung tingin ng taong bayan sa kanila. It is all about positive images. Next, community relations, or corporate social responsibility, or CSR. Engaging with local communities and officials. So, kapag community relations na pinag-uusapan, you are engaging with, communities, government officials, mga locals, yung mga stakeholders na nasa local community. You are building the trust, or you are building a relationship, a beneficial relationship within that local community. For example, may nag-hold na organization na, what do you call this? Community drive. Mga tree planting, ganon. Mga donation drives. Those are examples of community relations kasi nagbe-build ka ng relationship with that community through tree planting sa community nila. Through donation drives, through community drives. Next, crisis management. Crisis management is delivering clear messages in emergencies or fast-changing situations. So, example natin dyan for crisis management. Meron nangyaring issue, meron nangyaring problema sa isang organization. And a spokesperson may lumabas na spokesperson na nag-address ng issue na yon, ng aksidenteng yon. That's crisis management PR. They are fixing the relationship of that organization and the public because of the nangyaring issue, nangyaring problem. Kino-communicate nila at ina-address nila kung ano nga ba talaga nangyari, and nililinaw nila kung ano ang role ng organization nila sa nangyaring issue. That is, minamanage nila yung crisis. Hence the words crisis management. So, lastly naman, events management or exhibitions. This is organizing complex events or exhibitions. Given naman na to, you are planning and organizing complex events and exhibitions para ma-promote yung organization. Kumbaga, isipin natin mayroong isang kumpanya na nag-launch ng bagong produkto, like, may bagong flavor si Coca-Cola, so nag-launch sila ng event, nag-launch sila ng party para ma-promote yung product nila. Ayan. That is events management and exhibitions kasi pinopromote nila sa publiko yung produkto nila to an event. So, PR professionals play a critical role in maintaining a positive image. That is, what is PR all about? Positive image talaga. And pag-build ng trust sa organization na yon and sa publiko para ma-effectively manage yung communication during mga situations and challenges in society.
Lesson 4.3: Audiences and Communication Media Channels. An example of print media is a newspaper. So, ano nga ba ang newspaper? Ang newspaper ay isang publication published periodically, ibig sabihin, araw-araw itong nagbabago, carrying news stories, opinions, and advertisement. Its key features are regular or periodically appearance. Ito yung sinabi ko kanina na everyday nagpapalit ng nilalaman ang newspaper. Secondly, use of print technology. Para ma-produce ang isang newspaper, ginagamitan ito ng print technology. Third, news content. Ito yung mga balita na nilalaman ng isang newspaper. Fourth is individual or group reading. Maaari itong basahin ng mag-isa lang or kaya naman ng isang grupo. Newspapers are classified according to: first is type of content. Maaari itong maging general news, political newspaper, business newspaper, or sports newspaper. Secondly is circulation area. If ang newspaper na yon ay national, local, or metropolitan newspaper. Yung metropolitan newspaper is within a city or a specific area. Third is audience. There are community newspapers and religious newspapers. Fourth is newspaper. A newspaper can vary in languages. It can be a national language or vernacular language. Fifth is periodicity. It can be produced daily or weekly. Newspapers are divided into two sections. There are editorial section and business section. So, ano nga ba yung nasa editorial section? Nandito yung mga editors, reporters, photojournalists, and another journalist. Sa business section naman, it composed of advertising and circular sales staff. It generates revenue for business. In short, nandito yung mga advertisement. The second communication media channel is radio. Ang radio ay nahahati din sa dalawang modulation. There is AM radio or amplitude modulation and FM radio, frequency modulation radio. AM radio can travel long distances but it has lower sound of quality, while FM radio provides better sound quality but it has a smaller range. Another difference of those ay yung kanilang carrier waves. Sa AM, yung vibration fluctuates with sound. Sa FM naman, it remains constant. Third communication media channel is television. Television comes next to radio in popularity according to UNESCO. We all know what television looks like. Ang television ay isang radio with pictures. Television provides us entertainment, education, news, and cultural awareness. Television allows us to access a wide range of programs and channels. It provides us entertainment, news, educational content, and more. Fourth communication media channel is film. Film is a true mass medium. Why? Because it reaches a large part of the population, even in rural areas. Recorded music receives less attention as a mass medium, but it dominates much of the video content and the auxiliary use of cell phones. Next is new media. Ang new media ay nagpapatuloy mag-evolve. Ito ay ginagamitan ng internet so that we can communicate with it. Social media is a subset of the new media. It dominated the mass media landscape in recent year. Alam naman natin kung ano yung social media. Pero inside social media, madami siyang subparts. Katulad na lang ng nasa screen. First, we have social networking site. Ang example nito ay Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, and more. Sa social networking sites, nakakapagbuo tayo dito ng account. Ito yung kadalasang ginagamit natin. Next is collaborative products. An example of this is Wikipedia. Kasi sa Wikipedia, kahit na nakapublish na yung document na yan, pwede pa natin itong ma-edit. Just like in Docs na ginagamit ng karamihan sa atin, and Canva. Third is content communities. An example of this is YouTube. Nowadays, madami ng content creators. Pwede na silang mag-post kahit saang social networking sites. Dito pumapasok yung mga vlogger. Another example of content community is TikTok. Fourth is virtual game worlds. An example of this are World of Warcraft and Second Life. Fifth is technologies. Nandito yung blogs, emails, instant messaging, music sharing, and crowdsourcing. The last lesson for today is functions and effects of social sciences. The social sciences refers to the various disciplines that study society and examine how people interact and develop culture. So, ano yung pinagkaiba nito sa applied social sciences? Yung applied social sciences naman is a response to the compartmentalization of the social science knowledge. It was common during 20th century. Applied social sciences help understand society and the different problems and issues it faces. From the word applied social sciences, dito natin ina-apply yung mga lessons we learned from the different disciplines of social science. So, bakit nga ba mahalaga ang applied social science? First, it is important because of self-development. Applied social science help us resolve serious problems in people's life. Dito pumapasok yung discipline of psychology. Sinasabi din dito na through applied social science, nakakatulong ito kung paano natin masosolusyonan ang isang problema. Second is persuasion. It is being able to convince other people to change their attitudes or behaviors regarding an issue. Dito pumapasok yung mga trabaho na related sa communication, like mass media, advertising, and business. Third is arts and entertainment. Sumasalamin ito sa kultura and kung anong society meron ang isang bansa. Through applied social science, we are able to understand and analyze the development, new trends in the art and entertainment. Fourth is news and information. Mahalaga itong applied social science na ito sa field ng journalism. News and current affairs sector emphasizes the need for balance, objective, and truthful rendering of political and important events. Fifth is organizing, advocacy, and mobilization. From the word itself, it informs and educates public issues and influence people on the development of policies. Through this, nahihikayat nito ang madla para gumawa ng action. Sixth is education and socialization. It educates the public about the realities of life and problems that the country faces. Connected dito yung journalism because it also shows the problem that the country faces para maiwasan ang pagkalito sa organizing, advocacy, and mobilization at sa education and socialization. Tandaan na sa organizing, advocacy, and mobilization, it informs the public issues and influence people sa mga policy. Sa education and socialization naman, it educates us about the realities of life. Sa education and socialization, mas nakikita dito yung pamumuhay ng ibang tao. Next is effects of applied social science. So, sa paanong paraan nga ba tayo natutulungan ng applied social science? First, applied social science helps us to understand ourselves and the other people around us. Secondly, it helps us to understand various social phenomena. And because of this, people can make significant changes in their attitudes and values to prevent social problems. Third, it introduced us to different political problems and issues of our country. It also provided us solutions kung paano natin i-address itong mga political and social problems. Applied social science also helps us to understand intricacies of the different structural problems and how it changes through time. Next is comprehend the different social problems and its dynamics. Katulad ng sinabi ko earlier, natulungan tayo ng applied social science para maintindihan natin yung mga different social problems and how it evolves through time. And lastly, applied social science provided us the necessary tools and skills to propose alternative solutions. Kaya ngayong nasa contemporary time tayo and nag-evolve yung mga different social problems na dati naman ay nasolusyonan na, nakakapag-isip na tayo ng mga alternative solutions kung paano natin sosolusyonan ang panibagong problema na ating kinakaharap. That's why applied social science is important because it helps us to understand ourselves, the community, and how we can face different social problems in our lives.
Ayan, so that concludes yung mga lessons natin. So I hope you learned something valuable from our peer tutoring session on disciplines and ideas in the applied social sciences. Once again, I am Alessandra Sky Bigobatan.
And I am Ashley Nicole A. Mapula.
And this has been LINANG, Nurturing Knowledge, Building Success. Thank you for listening and goodbye! Good luck sa finals, Humanistas! Kaya natin 'tong lahat. Yes!